What's the riskiest investment you've ever made?
I invested in Shiba Inu. Actually, I took a very unconventional decision to take a dummy college.
What's a dummy college?
Yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to season 2 of the Bad Podcast, जहाँ हम मिलेंगे influencers से who are creating real impact. Our first episode is with the very amazing Anushka Rathod. इनको आपने देखा होगा Instagram पे and YouTube पे making amazing videos where she breaks down finance concepts. She's also an investment banker turned content creator with almost 2 million followers and उनके videos पे in fact millions of views हैं अब. She is Forbes 30 under 30 and author as well of the Money Guide and so much to learn from her. Can't wait for all of us to meet her. So Anushka, welcome. So nice to meet you.
Thank you, Swati. It was such a warm introduction, and also I must say you're one of my inspirations. Like even before I started creating content,
thank you.
I have known you and followed your work.
Thank you so much. That's so sweet. Let's start from the start. I can't wait to get to know you as a person. So tell me a little bit about where you grew up, your childhood. What was it like growing up?
I grew up in Surat, typical Marwadi business family.
Yeah.
My childhood was comfortable. We were in a business families and Marwadi, so we grew up very frugally. But other than that, it was very comfortable. My mom was very supportive. She always pushed me to study, to work hard, to be financially independent. And my dad also, he's from a business, he has his own business. So he was always very mindful about his expenditure, being very particular about saving for the future because in business, today you have income, tomorrow you don't. So I grew up, learning the importance of saving and investing very early on, and that carried with me, with time.
And then where did you study? What was your first job?
So actually, I took a very unconventional decision to take a dummy college.
Okay.
So what happened was...
What's a dummy college?
Yeah. So what happened was, in my 11th, 12th, I decided I want to be rich.
Okay. I decided I wanted to be rich. I like that.
So I went to, the Forbes list, India and the US, and I searched, what are these people who are actually very rich doing? So that's when I came across this article that most of the people who are rich don't make money because of their business, but they make money because of their equity, because of the stock market. And that's when I very naively decided, I want to be in finance, in stock market, because that's where you make a lot of money.
Okay, interesting.
And again, Marwadi business family. So in my family, women tend to get married very early on, early 20s. And I knew I sort of had a, like a ticking time that I need to be settled before I'm 25. Otherwise, after that, I won't have a lot of options, a lot of say.
Before 25 itself?
Yeah, not a lot of say as to what I wanted to do. I did score well in my 12, but not that great that I would get into the top 3 universities that I wanted to in India. And after that, I realized the universities that were there, the prospects after that were 50-50. I might get a good job, I might not get a good job. So I decided that I am going to start investing and learning about the stock markets early on. And that's why after my 12th, I decided I'm going to do CFA. I took a dummy college, which basically meant that attendance was not compulsory. I started working from my first year of college itself. My first internship was with a family fund office based out of Nariman Point in Mumbai. And yeah, ever since that, I never stopped earning. So I think like first year of college, when I started my internship, that's when I stopped taking money from home. And till date, that's what I haven't had to, yeah.
Amazing, okay. And then from then on, how did you progress in your career and where did content creation come from?
Right, so after that, I think 3-4 years I worked in finance, switched jobs, went from equity markets to mutual funds to investment banking.
Okay.
Realized that I really loved equity markets, decided I will, finish my CFA, go to the US, do my masters. So for that, Feb 2020, I left my job. Feb 2020. And March 2020.
Feb 2020, when COVID was just starting.
Yeah, and back then, I think if I had just waited for 3 or 4 more weeks, I would have not, considering what happened. But yeah, that's when I scored, that's when I got into Duke University for my master's with a scholarship. So I thought, okay, you know what, I'm going there. I have my CFA exams right before that. I'm going to take this break to, shift to the US and also prepare for my CFA exams. So that happened, but unfortunately, destiny had other plans. CFA kept getting postponed, masters kept getting postponed because of the lockdown, and this all amidst all this, I had also left my job, so I did not have a lot to do, and first initial 2-3 months, I was like, it's fine. Everyone's, it's everyone's life has come to an halt, and also things were very tensed, health-wise, and other actual on-ground things were very bad. So this didn't seem as my career didn't seem as daunting as, or it didn't seem as
itna important nahi tha maybe कि there were other things, yeah.
But then after that, when you started accepting, okay, this is a new reality. Now you also have to think about your career again. And then CFA got postponed for the third time. My master's got postponed by an entire year. So I'm like, okay, I need to do something right now. And also what happened was I would see a lot of my friends would ask me questions as to, Anushka, where do I invest? What do I do with my money? And I was already tracking the markets back then. And I was in this field for some time. So I would always tell them, why don't you Google it? It's all there on YouTube. Like, it's too long.
Yeah.
I
Tu
won't
bata
watch
de.
it.
Yeah.
So that's when I got this insight that, instead of people searching for these things when it's required, why don't we make push content on personal finance or on educational topics? So that's when I started making these short videos on finance on Instagram. I was the first infotainment creator from India to conceptualize this and get started. I knew my friends would ask me this question, and I identified that this is a gap and it can be solved. And I think it was a right insight, because within 15 days I got my first viral video.
Wow.
6 more months into content creation, I really got hooked to it, because it was fulfilling work, right? Because you were helping people, you're your own boss. And then a couple of months into it, I started earning a little bit also. So that gave me more confidence.
You started earning from what?
Brand income.
Brand income, okay.
So there was some income coming here also. So I think after and I always had a backup that, okay, if tomorrow this does not work or something goes haywire, I can always go back to my master's and my traditional finance plan. However, I think 2 years into this, I decided to pursue this full time and not go back.
2 years into it.
Yeah.
Acha, interesting.
So that was also like the time, I think 1.5 year तो COVID ही चला था, and then after that, yeah.
हाँ, इतना ज़्यादा time नहीं है. मतलब we always hear about these people जहाँ पे COVID में वो college नहीं जा पाए तो वो content creator बन गए. Because काफी उनकी life plans disrupt हो गए, so content creation happened. And same for you as well. Actually 5 साल से कम के time में you have gone to this base of almost 2 million followers across platforms. Plus, the Forbes 30 under 30, have a book out, and you are educating and helping so many other people. So that's phenomenal.
I think it's all destiny, and I'm so glad I get to do this.
Yeah, that's amazing. Because 2 years, when you were making content, and then was it that certain amount of income started coming that you thought कि चलो अब I can do this full time, or what was that trigger which made you feel कि हाँ मैं ये कर सकती हूँ? This is my career basically now.
So I think up till 2 years or 1.5 years, when I was doing it, was always I'll go for my masters, I'll go for my masters, I'll go for my masters. But 2 years when that happened, like it was March 2022, not exactly 2 years, but approx 2 years, when I had to decide, okay, now again I have to decide if I want to go for my masters or not. And then I decided, I had also had more experience than when I actually applied. So maybe the university that I was going to or the program I was going to was not fulfilling enough. So I thought, again, it was okay, ek saal aur kar leti hu, nahi I'll go for my MBA now. Does not make sense going for my masters. But more than that, what really helped me make my decision was, it was actually very, again, like I said, fulfilling work. So I've always been a little creative, and I've always been a little logical also. So I actually did, very briefly, I did a stint at an advertising agency, and there I felt like everything is too creative. I need some method to this madness. And in my finance job, I felt, okay, this is a little stifling. I need something more creative. And somewhere this had best of both worlds. I was able to help people also. It was very exciting to, be your own boss, be creative, be logical, do the analysis and then make videos on it. And I was also still young, but I was 24, 25, and it was exciting space. I was getting recognition. I was, people would DM me saying that, we've started a SIP because of you, or we've started an account for a girl child and we started saving for her, or you told me about VPF, we went to our employees and got that started for ourselves. Just that thing that you're doing good in the world also makes you feel like more fulfilled in life in general. So that actually, all of that combined helped me make that decision.
Nice. And that's probably how you decided what kind of content to make as well, and the genre that you picked up within finance as well?
No, I think I've always liked finance as a niche. I've always liked personal finance, business stories, the markets. However, now I don't make content on the markets because I've always tried to be compliant and also ethical towards my audience, that I don't want to misguide them in any way. So it was more from personal interest and also seeing a gap in the market, and also understanding or knowing that there's so much mis-selling happening that we can actually help someone there. So a lot of these things contributed to that.
So what does the content creation process looks like? I'm sure people are, looking at this and thinking, oh, this is good and मुझे भी ये पसंद है, मैं भी इस चीज़ की influencer बन सकती हूँ, because people get ideas from that as well. So how do you organize your life? How do you plan it? Content creation, कौन सा topic लेना, उसकी research करना, shoot करना, like what does that process look like?
Honestly, when I started, and even up till like I think 2.5 years back, content creation was relatively simpler. You would just pick up your phone and start creating content, and that was all that was required. If you had good storytelling skills and creativity, you could do everything on your phone and do it. However, now because the competition has increased and a lot of people are doing high production videos, by production I mean professional cameras, editing, now the process has become a little bit more complex. So now the process looks like I myself do my research and I have one more person with me in the team. So we are constantly reading and we have this Excel sheet where we maintain all our ideas. And whenever we are talking to people or if someone asks questions in the comments, that's where we generate our ideas from. Post that we do.
So you're saying you read all the comments?
I do read a lot of the comments.
Most of them.
Even so, my
okay, guys, so please comment. She will read.
So that's how I generate ideas. Uske baad hum research karte hai, and then scripting is again something that I do by myself. Then production ke liye shooting the videos, I have an agency. Unke studio mein jati hu, they shoot it, and editing is also an agency. In I think 6-7 months before that, I was, also the operations manager. I would manage everything, but now I have kept an operations manager. So after I shoot the video, my involvement reduces and the operational manager takes the flow ahead.
Content creation basically takes up your full-time life now.
No, actually, again, one more thing that happened 2 years back is I started also giving strategy to companies on their content creation and distribution. So that also was like another diversification of income, and that's when I also decided to write that book.
It's impressive that you've written a book also called The Money Guide. Tell us more about it.
So basically, when I was creating content, right, our content was surface level, because how much can you explain in a minute and a half, right? I wanted to go deeper. So now I had two options. I could either make a course or a book. Now course, somewhere I felt people had already done, and I didn't want to launch a course just for the sake of it. I wanted to do something different. So that's when I decided to write that book. Now, when I was reading and researching about, all the personal finance book, I practically called all the personal finance books that were there available in India, ordered it off Amazon, and I started reading. Like, I also, someone who was interested in finance also would not want to read most of the books. So how a person who was not from the finance field would read it? So I started seeing if there were people who would do more graphical books. Like I remember when I was young, my mom would get me these encyclopedias.
Encyclopedias.
Oh my god. Yeah, those, and I would love flipping through it, and my mom had got me this book called Psychology for kids, and
but they had visuals also.
Yeah, and I remember even such a complicated topic, I was able to enjoy it because of the visuals. So I thought, why can't that be done in personal finance? And that's where I thought I wanted to do something different, something that would make people read, because there are like more exciting things happening while you're reading it, and you're consuming information without realizing that putting in the effort. It like when people think finance, they think like men in suits, black and white, grey. I think no, why can't it be colorful? The topics, the basics remain the same, but it can be presented in a different way. So that's when I started writing it. I think I took almost 7-8 months to write it, and then another 4 months to design it. We did like 7-8 different ideas or iterations of different designs to fix and finalize on one. Try to draw something from my online brand to my book also. Did a lot of had a lot of fun with the entire process.
I still have to read it. I must read it after this.
You should, yeah.
But I just want to double tap on the book, because कई लोग ऐसे हैं जो सोचते हैं कि हम भी एक बुक लिखेंगे किसी दिन, या फिर कई ऐसे हैं जो डिसाइड कर चुके हैं कि हम बुक लिखना चाहते हैं, बट आगे क्या करें समझ नहीं आता. पब्लिशर कौन है, क्या मतलब है, कहाँ से आएगा? Can you guide people who want to write books?
I think getting a publisher is very difficult. It was relatively easier for me because I decided.
But how do you get it? Matlab, there's a list and you go to each of them?
Yeah, you do have. So there are agents who you can reach out to if you have like a good idea. These agents might charge you like an initial fee to do the discovery meeting. Some agents won't charge you. These agents have their contacts with these publishing houses, and they will take a commission out of the book sales that you have, or what out of the royalty that you get. But these agents are a good way to reach to publishing houses, because publishing houses ko tum individually jaake reach out karoge, I'm sorry, the conversions will be lower there. But I think if you just Google, publishing agents, social, Instagram, you'll get them. That can help. What can also help is self-publishing. There are a lot of platforms that help you do that also today. But the easiest, or like the easier way to do it, if you already have a social media distribution, is actually to self-publish or to find a publishing agency which is upcoming, because they will be more willing to work with you, and they listen to you also more, because you are also getting the sales. With the other publishers, you have to listen to them, what they say, the pricing they set, because they have the distribution there, and they're not reliant on your distribution as much. So the reason I went with the publisher that I have today is because we could work mutually, we could work on exciting campaigns. I wanted to work on certain types of ads, certain digital first approaches, a lot of things from my page as well, which they were very open to doing, which I don't think the bigger publishers would have the bandwidth to cater to, because they have so many bigger clients.
Interesting. But it is a very different experience and a fulfilling journey to be able to write a book, right?
It's definitely very interesting. I think the entire time when I was writing it, actually, I would wake up at, very early in the morning, and before I would start the day, because you need, it seems easy to write that many words, but after a point, and I think I'm a little creative, but even after a point, I'm like, okay, what stories do I get now? How do I can't write the 100th introduction to a paragraph or a sub-segment. It's difficult.
But you had an editor helping you out also?
I did have not an editor, of course. They give you notes and they give you, the structure and all, they help you with that. But the core thing has to come from you. And even if you have a writer helping you, there are two types. There's a ghostwriter who will take care of everything. I did not have that. I wrote the book myself. But I did have a writer to help me with, sentence formations. Like sometimes you say X, Y, Z, A, B, C, but that's difficult to read. That you as a, as a new author would not understand. But someone with better literary skills will actually help you guide better. And also ChatGPT and like AI.
Actually now, now with AI a lot can happen. So whatever you've described so far, it sounds glam and, a little, like it's not easy. I know it's not easy, and there must be so many challenges as well, right? So what are some of those challenges of being a content creator, that also in finance? So let's talk about that. And then maybe you can also tell us some misconceptions people have either about content creation or even finance that you've come across.
I think the biggest challenge, honestly, like the process of it, because we've been doing it for 4 or 5 years now, has become simpler, it's set. And I would say the biggest challenge now is just ensuring that you are still true to yourself and you're giving your audience good, valuable knowledge, because the general perception has become that finance creator ho ye to stock tips deti hai. I have never given a single stock tip in my 4 or 5 years.
But people come expecting, batao kaun sa stock kharide, sab bata denge.
हाँ, but वो regulatory allowed ही नहीं है. अभी तो SEBI ने clearly बोलता है कि आप नहीं कर सकते हो, but मैंने तो day 1 से भी नहीं किया. एक mutual fund का नाम भी नहीं लिया. I only talk about the category of mutual funds. Till wherever possible, I don't take direct investments or direct product ka names. I try to give a little bit more educational and general advice. But however, because of, I have been cautious, but because other people are not, and they give trading tips, fake charts dikhate hai, they entice people. So that entire perception of finance creators has become very negative because of that. And because of that, today when I tell that I create content on finance, it's somewhere thoda sa embarrassment bhi uske sath attach ho gaya. And I say, no, I'm a content creator. I make education or infotainment videos. So that's like a little sad about the entire perception that's happened. But apart from that, I think I still love the process of making videos. Every time I see a topic which, oh wow, this is like so interesting, I want to make a video out of it, that is definitely there. Another challenge I would say is also that the algorithm changes so quickly, people get bored so quickly that every 2 months you need to completely re-strategize. So I think right now in the last 6 to 8 months I've become a little more relaxed as to, okay, views go up and down, I'll find something, I won't find something, it's fine. I'm not as scared, but initially I would take a lot of stress and pressure that, oh, views are dropping, I need to do something, I need to change this. I would like, पूरी team को हिला के रख देती थी कि नहीं ये नहीं ऐसा करो वैसा करो, ये अच्छा नहीं जा रहा, क्यों नहीं जा रहा, editing ऐसा क्यों नहीं कर रहे. But now I think I've become more calmer and more confident in my abilities कि मैं कर लूँगी.
Interesting. That's a good tip because I'm sure budding influencers also face that kind of pressure, right, of views and clicks, and the need to remain active, the need to remain, to keep posting content. So have you gone through these phases when you haven't posted, and what did you feel like? Like, am I becoming irrelevant? And then, have you ever felt like that? How did you deal with it?
So I have definitely questioned that, oh, I'm getting irrelevant, oh, I'm not as famous, or oh, I don't think my impact is as much as before. But what has happened is, what I did is I took my financial statements month on month for the past 3 years, and I analyzed when and how, the income flows. And very interesting insight I saw is that, again, here also the power laws applied. There were only a couple of months where I was making most of my income. And what I realized is, okay, your views do impact your income, but more than that, it's the brand campaigns that come during the festive season, during tax saving seasons, or other, whenever they have their targets to finish, that also impacts your earning. So that took some pressure off me, but at the same time, what I realized is that in a particular given year, over the last 4 years, it's always happened that I've always had 2-3 months which were very good, and I've gotten a lot of growth, and the rest 7 to 8 months have not been that great.
So that's normal. 25% of the time you're growing, 30% growing.
Yeah, so if you've had a great month right now, you'll book a lot of brands, and that brands will get executed, and your income will start, you'll book the income or the revenue a month or two later. So overall, the 2-3 months you're getting good views, you feel happy and confident because of views, and after that 2-3 months you feel happy because of the money. So 6 months you're sorted, in another 6 months they are going to be down. This is also a business. Uspe bhi lean phase, high phase hota hai.
Yeah. So how else can influencers monetize? Of course, Earn Karo, our app, is one of them, because iske pehle, the people who we had on this show, we spoke about how they were using Earn Karo links, putting affiliate links in all the videos, and influencers are earning lakhs every month. So any other tips you have for people on, how to monetize?
I think affiliates is one, brands is second. Starting your consulting businesses. If you have your personal brand, people will come to you to advise them, or to, everyone wants to grow online today. If you're able to successfully crack that, it's a great market. If you're young, I have seen marketing teams who don't know how to cater to Gen Z. Like, humko samajh hi nahi aata ye log. If you're young, if you're cool, if you know how to speak the language, you can actually also consult to them, or you can be a part of their teams. It can help you get jobs also. All of that, like, people want to know what's cool and what's trending. And if you're Gen Z and if you've cracked the code, or if you're young and you've cracked the code, you can absolutely, get very lucrative opportunities there. Apart from that, another thing, it's not only Gen Zs. A lot of different companies are now employing influencer marketing. There's this company which is catering to women in their 40s and 50s. So there a lot of storytelling works. It's in the household category. They have multiple products there. So they show all of these, tips and tricks of how to be a good home manager, or how to, be a good host. A lot of those storytelling, a lot of that nuanced, small emotions, if you're able to capture. And for that, you don't have to be young. You need to have that experience. There are brands who want, if you're Gujarati, and if you have, like, I'm from Gujarat, so I know brands come in like, oh, can you do it in Gujarati language, because we want to cater to that audience. You want that authenticity to come. So a lot of, like, your nuanced, your life experiences, your forte, if you have it, if you have something unique and you're showcasing your talent, even if you're not getting any brands or affiliate income, you will get these opportunities somewhere here and there.
Yeah, imagine a brand approach me that since you've had a kidney transplant, can you interview nephrologists?
Wow.
So, I mean, life situation can also bring you other chances, so to speak. Great. And have you tried affiliate marketing? How's your experience been?
I have actually not
tried much.
I have tried here and there little, but not that.
Now we'll get you to try.
Done.
Yes. All right. So Anushka, given you're reading comments, you're getting so much feedback from people, anything you've seen, these are some common misconceptions about finance that people hold that you can share?
I would say not a misconception, but like an unrealistic expectation that people have is that my investment should give me 50% return. My investment has only given me 25% return. Why is it underperforming? Do you know how much is 25%?
Yeah.
The average return from the stock market to be expected is 12 to 14%. If you are doing 15-16% also, it's considered great. You're beating the benchmark. 25% is an anomaly. 50% is highly unrealistic to do consistently over, large periods of time. So have realistic returns, because what happens happens to chase that 50%, you will go towards other securities. In those products, what can actually happen is you'll end up losing your initial investment also. So have realistic expectations and accordingly invest. A lot of people try to complicate their investments. हम ये भी करेंगे, हम वो भी करेंगे, हमको 10 म्यूचुअल फंड करने हैं, हमको ये P2P भी करना है. It's not necessary. Select your 4 to 5 good mutual funds, have your health insurance in place, have your emergency fund in place, and once that is done, and then if you have more time, go explore other products. You don't need to complicate and overcomplicate your investment products to a large extent. If you have a hybrid fund, if you if you want to invest in gold, you can have a little bit of gold there. But all of that, keep it restricted to a few categories which you can easily track, and you're not overwhelmed. कि हमने ये IPO में भी किया था, उसका कितना रिटर्न निकला, हमने 2 स्टॉक्स भी किए थे बट वो अंडर परफॉर्म करे, उसका भी क्या करे, वो सब ऐसे तो आपका कहीं पे भी नहीं, कहीं पे भी कुछ नहीं होगा. You in finance or when you're investing, the thing you should be ensuring is you're investing for the long term and you're investing more money. So वो जो आप time complicated investment strategies में डाल रहे हो, उससे ज़्यादा अपने skills में डालो so that you can earn more money and you can invest that for a long period of time. और उस पर अगर आपको 12 to 14% return भी मिल रहा है, compounding के वजह से you actually get good returns.
In fact मैं next यही पूछने जा रही थी कि क्या हम tips दे लोगों को कि कैसे उनको अपनी investment strategy plan करनी चाहिए, but I think आपने already दे दिए हैं. इसके अलावा anything else you want to add?
I think do like a simple pyramid जो मैं अपने book के बारे में book में भी मैंने लिखा है. First of all, you need to ensure that your cash flows are sorted. कि आप you know where your money is coming in from, and not exactly but a broad idea as to where your money is going towards. After that, once you've done that, आजकल lifestyle inflation, people are also spending a lot because of a lot of these quick commerce apps, a lot of online temptation. So fix a budget कि मैं अपने discretionary पे 10% ही करूँगी, and then stick to it. Or fix a percentage कि मैं 10% मेरे salary से invest करूँगी, फिर जो बचता है that I will spend after all my needs are done. So do that like very basic budgeting जो आप easily कर सकते हो mentally only. You don't have to do a lot of effort कि no Excel पे जाके लिखो. Do that basic thing, and once that is sorted, you have to create a 6 to 7 months of emergency fund. ये पैसे रख रहे हैं आपके कोई भी एकदम liquid investment में. By liquid I mean जहाँ से आप easily कभी भी पैसे ले सकते हो, वो locked in नहीं है. After that, you go towards, first you have your budgeting solved, emergency fund solved. उसके बाद भी आपको invest नहीं करना है. The next step is having your health insurance sorted. Because if you have a medical emergency, all your savings can get wiped off. So you don't want to be in that position. You want to get your health insurance before you start investing. And then then you start investing your money, and then don't take too many risky bets. At max, get like 3 to 4 mutual funds, 1 to debt products. Which could be your banking products, your FD, or any debt mutual fund. And another commodity could be your gold, or if you want to also invest or get benefit out of the dollar appreciation, then the US markets also. So all of that, mota itne mein your entire universe of products get covered of what an individual retail investor needs. And this also you should build over a period of 3 to 4 years. कोई जल्दी नहीं है कि आपको एक ही साल में सब में करना है. Build your portfolio with time, as and when you have liquidity, as and when you think you understand the product, and if it's the right time to invest in it or not. So that's like a broad roadmap. If I have to summarize, first do your cash flow, sort it out, emergency fund, health insurance, and then you start investing.
And then उसके बाद जो spending करनी है online, वो cash करो से करो ताकि आपको हर चीज़ पे cashback मिले and savings और बढ़ेंगी. So Anushka, let's wrap up with the thing that everyone wants to know कि आपके पास सारा ज्ञान भी है, सारी knowledge भी है. How do you manage your own finances?
So see, I don't have a stable income. जैसे मैंने अभी बताया था कि 3 months, 4 months is when we earn, and rest is relatively slow months. And also I have a team to pay salaries to, and have other expenses. So my system is a little different. I don't exactly have an SIP, but what I do is whenever I do have a lump sum, I've created a plan. So 80% of whatever I do want to invest, out of the surplus that I have, goes into 3 mutual funds. One is an index fund, one is a small cap fund, and another is a flexi cap fund. And then 20% of it goes into 2 funds. One is a momentum fund, and another one is a US market fund.
Oh, that's good. You're investing in US markets also.
Yeah. So these are the 5 mutual funds. 80%, 20% is how I've distributed it. Then overall, sometimes when I do have some money collected and I want to decide lump sum where I want to invest, so some of that has gone into angel investing. I would say around 6 to 10% is in angel investing. And then I, like I mentioned that I'm also starting up, so we do need to keep funds for that also. So a lot of that money is into FDs and gilt funds, mixture of both.
So I think when you said angel investment, suddenly like my lights went on and so many people will be like, really, she's angel investing also. So do you want to talk about what kind of businesses are interesting for you, and agar log dekh rahe hain, you want to share it with people and tell them that, you know, these are the kind of topics she's looking at, or businesses, areas, categories, anything?
Yeah, so I think most of the angel investments I've done is where I can, you know, help the founders with their distribution and their strategy, where I can also be an active contributor to the strategy that they have. So I think I have angel invested in some 7, 8, around 10 startups. I think 1, 2 of them have done really well. I think one of them has already 10x'd. That's very good to see. None of the companies have shut down, so I think I'm okay there.
And it's patient capital. As angels, one has to be patient.
But yeah, a lot of them are into consumer-facing companies only, and I've been helping the founders, not helping as such, but doing a little bit more, you know, interactions with them, and as to how to proceed with content marketing, influencer marketing, because that's where my forte lies.
तो अनुष्का, कभी आपके साथ ऐसा हुआ है कि people look at you and say कि she's a female, what does she know about finance? Because traditionally India में हमेशा मेल रहे हैं हर फैमिली में who take the financial decisions, credit card उनके नाम पे, bank account उनके नाम पे, and today you are a female finance creator telling people how to invest their money, what to do with their money. It must feel amazing, but what has this journey been like?
I think initially there was a little bit more stigma against women in finance. When I was working in core finance, I definitely did not have teams where there were a lot of women. I did not have a lot of people to look up to, and I did see that there was a boys club, and it was very difficult to, you know, crack those. And हमको ऐसा लगता है कि okay, what if there's a boys club, but you don't know कि कितने सारे opportunities ये informal interaction से भी
मिस हो जाते हैं, correct?
हाँ, कितना mentorship उनको मिलता है, which we do miss out on. So वो पहले तो बहुत लगता था. Even I think even after coming to creators, I've realized even in the influencer space, there's a boys club at the top. Everywhere there's a boys club, because in general, especially in the finance space, there are more men who are, you know, actively pursuing this. However, you know, to combat that, we actually have a WhatsApp group now, female finance creators, where we all support each other and we cross collaborate and have, you know, more active support. And I think I personally also have started reaching out and talking to more female founders such as yourself also, and just generally, you know, talking to others that, you know, how do you, and not a lot of things are like how do I get operationally this task executed, but it's a lot on like strategy, emotional coaching, not coaching, but just, you know, just talking things out, and just knowing that, you know, someone else has gone through,
and knowing that you're not alone.
I
mean, I used to work at Goldman Sachs in London. I did 5 years investment banking, and it is an absolute boys club. I mean, it's alpha males actually, but they make a lot of initiative and effort ki okay, diversity rahe, females hire kare, but it's not the same. I mean, even when I've raised money as a woman entrepreneur, even as a tech entrepreneur in India, females are always, you know, less than 20% of the total pie in whatever I've done in life. But I think we get used to it, and after a point we don't give a damn about it, right?
No, I think we somewhere always give a damn, because why is it easier for someone else? But I think you don't have any option. You have to like put in the extra effort there. So, but today I feel like, you know, now, at least like in my immediate circles, because I've been doing what I've been doing for the past 4-5 years, there's some credibility established. But if you go on the internet, if I'm speaking a statement and if a guy is speaking the same statement, I will get asked 3 more questions and the guy will not. So I just take it as a positive sign that I need to be more prepared and thorough with everything that I'm saying and doing. And, you know, my audience is just asking me questions because they are more well aware and informed than the others.
So should we have some fun and do a rapid fire?
Done.
Yeah.
The Bad Podcast.
So, one financial tip you think is overrated?
Rent your house, don't buy.
Biggest misconception people have about women in finance?
In general, women are not as, you know, quantitative and smart. That's a misconception.
Yeah, both of us come from finance background, by the way. What's the riskiest investment you've ever made?
I invested in Shiba Inu, which is a meme crypto, but I invested like 5,000 rupees. It was not a lot.
Yeah. In fact, our next question was that crypto is the future or fad?
In India, because of the regulations and, you know, the general taxations, it's not as favorable as of now. But overall, they've done really well in the last 2 years.
What's the biggest financial mistake women tend to make?
Not being confident enough to make decisions and ask questions.
And not doing any finance planning only half the time.
Because they're not confident enough to ask questions and make decisions.
True. One word to describe the budget that just came.
It was for the middle class.
Any rule about Indian taxes that you find cumbersome?
I think the whole old tax regime is only cumbersome.
Yeah.
But I think with the new tax regime, things are getting better. But I would say things are getting better, yeah.
Okay. Any big purchase that you've regretted?
I bought a luxury bag because my mom loves luxury bags, and I think this is the first time I bought something and I felt sad after it.
Really? Why?
I did not enjoy it. I think I just bought it for, others and not for myself.
So, continuing the rapid fire, do you not like luxury bags? Because women will be like, really?
No, I do like luxury bags because they're beautiful and they're nice, but I feel
overpriced.
I did not want to spend that much on a bag.
Debit card or credit card?
Credit card. But when used wisely.
What are your 3 favorite cards that you would recommend for beginners?
Beginners. SBI cashback card, HDFC Millennia, and then there's one Axis Flip card, that's also a nice card.
Do you think women are better investors than men?
I think they're more rational and patient, and they take their time to understand things, and they don't make like head fast decisions without thinking. So yeah, I think they do tend to make better investors.
A current dream that's keeping you up at night?
The next thing I want to do is I want to build a company. I have started working on the product, things are in flow. And the last dream was to be an author, that got fulfilled. Now the next step is to be an entrepreneur, yeah.
Amazing. And are you able to talk about what the company is about or not yet?
Yeah. So the company is basically into providing proper SEBI-regulated advisors, advisory to people at a cost that it is affordable to everyone. So we working on building tech solutions for the registered advisors, and we are also helping them with distribution to reach people. And for the consumers, they have access to registered advisors, which they would not have traditionally because, there's just basically a gap. There's no one connecting them.
Lovely. All the best.
Thank you.
So, what was your feeling when your book came out, The Money Guide?
Honestly, there were like a lot of delays. So at that time, I was like, oh, finally,
it's out.
No, but it was exciting. When we launched, the website crashed because we did take extra server to, incorporate all the traffic we're going to get. But it went even beyond that. We did like amazing sales on one day. In fact, I'm not wearing it right now, but I have this pendant that I got made. I don't buy gold jewelry a lot. But from the royalty sales of my first day book sales, I got myself this gold pendant that I consider as my lucky charm. It's also like a 4 clover leaf, which symbolizes luck.
I've seen it in one of your videos actually. I saw
wear it very often.
Yeah, I've seen it. Oh, nice. Okay. What would you call your next book?
Wow, that's a difficult question. But it would be something on the home guide, the Indian finance guide, something like that. But it will have the guide. The 2 words are not confirmed yet. Yeah.
But by the way, that means there can be another book also. So that's great.
But the first book has actually touched wood been a success. We've gotten extremely good responses. The bigger publishers actually wanted to acquire the rights also.
Oh wow.
But we retained it because we wanted to do like a bunch of different things. So yeah, it's been a great experience writing.
Tell us about 2 of your favorite creators in the Indian ecosystem that you look up to.
That I look up to. Wow, that's interesting. I do look up to Tanmay Bhatt as a creator because he's just such a natural. He's effortless. I know
we're not talking about the type of content or the language. We're talking about him and his creativity, which is good. I agree.
And apart from him, who do I really like? Wait, let me think. It might take a minute. And then the second creator is Soch by Mohak Mangal. I think he has like really interesting videos.
Awesome. Well, it was lovely having you on the show. Thank you so much. And I'm sure हम सब ने बहुत कुछ सीखा finance के बारे में, and we are all thinking I must be more active in managing my money. So thank you again, and we have some very small gifts for you. So I'm going to give them to you.
Thank you for having me.